All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. You're in Plate Session about unleashing the power of AI in Salesforce Marketing Cloud engagement. If that's what you're expecting, stick around and enjoy the ride. If this is not the presentation you're expecting, I still invite you to stick around. I think this is going to be some really interesting stuff that you're going to want to see anyway. All right, so let's jump in. Here we go. My name is Aaron Pratt. I'm the Associate Director of Marketing Cloud here at Plative. You can see my email address there. Feel free to email me anytime with any follow-up questions or info that you'd like to have. Being an Associate Director of Marketing Cloud Plative basically means I work with a team of really great, fun, nerdy consultants who know the ins and outs of all the different Salesforce's Marketing Cloud products. We come alongside clients and help them out to set up Marketing Cloud in the best possible way for themselves and their business. I'm actually largely self-taught when it comes to marketing automation. My degree is in studio art. I ended up working on graphic design because that paid a little bit better after college, and eventually went in-house at a cellular retailer with about 500 stores across the country doing their website. One day my boss came to me and said, "Hey, do you want to run our email program?" And I had no idea what that meant. So I very foolishly said, yes, I would love to. And that was about a decade ago. And that was my introduction to then ExactTarget, now Marketing Cloud, and the Salesforce ecosystem and everything to do there. Taught myself, eventually went into consulting, and that's where Plative comes into. So I just want to note that even if you're unfamiliar with Marketing Cloud, marketing automation, or AI, like we're going to be talking about today, Plative is a great organization that can come along beside you and help you and your organization to better understand marketing, marketing automation, everything we do. Plative is an award-winning partner for both Salesforce and Oracle NetSuite. So we operate in the CRM and the ERP side. And we're a great organization. Well, I'm obviously a little biased, but we're a great organization to work with. If you have some interest in some of our marketing services in particular, feel free to scan that QR code to get some more information. I do want to note that photo, or rather that illustration you saw on the previous page, that is generated by AI. This one up in the corner here through a tool called Lensa. I actually uploaded about a dozen photos of myself, headshots of myself, and Lensa then generated a couple hundred images for me of what it thought I looked like based on those images. This one was pretty good. I actually did not own a shirt like that, but ended up buying one afterwards because I thought it looked pretty good on me. Some of the others were not so great. So for example, down here in the lower left, I have the, Ric Flair WWE kind of coat that I'm wearing there, and maybe Ken from the Barbie movie, Mojo Dojo, Casa House kind of approach. I don't think I'd wear that. Maybe. There's a slightly larger version of me that came up in one of the photos with this ukulele guitar thing. Or there were surprisingly a large number of photos that were provided by the AI model that had a baby or a smaller head popping out of my chest. I'm not sure why the AI thought that that's how I live, the state that I lived in, but it did come up quite a bit. So one thing I do want to note as we jump into our content here and look at all of these different AI models and how it can help you with marketing is AI is not perfect. It's not a replacement for people or writers or marketers or what are some of the other roles? Anybody working with numbers or subscriber info on their own. It still needs to be proofread, but it is a great tool. But keep in mind, not perfect. So what are we going to cover today? A few things. First of all, we're going to look at Marketing Cloud Engagement, just give a basic overview of what that is. And then we'll begin to look at different AI tools. First, we'll look at existing AI tools within Marketing Cloud Engagement. You're going to hear me say Einstein a whole bunch of times. Then we will jump into how you can use some custom AI tools right within Marketing Cloud, within Content Builder. And then we're going to look at how you can use things like ChatGPT and generative AI to do some more advanced things that really help you save time with marketing solutions for your marketing automation platform. From there, we'll take questions as long as I don't babble on too much. In addition, some housekeeping items to look at. This webinar is being recorded and will be shared along with this deck after the webinar concludes. We do have some question and answer functionality. To access that, you click the little icon that looks kind of like the PlayStation buttons without the X, and then hit Q&A. Just type in what you want to ask in there, and we will follow up at the end of the session with that information, hopefully live. If it's something we don't know or something that requires a larger answer, we'll answer afterwards as well. We'll also do our best to tell you what instances of Marketing Cloud we're using and demonstrating on, and what particular features and tools that we are using as well. All right, so let's get to it. Salesforce Marketing Cloud Engagement. We're obviously biased. We think it's the best marketing automation platform on the planet. But basically, Marketing Cloud Engagement is one of 5 Marketing Cloud tools that Salesforce offers. It's really at its base, I think I mentioned ExactTarget earlier, a marketing automation platform that lets you build and personalize and send emails, but it also lets you do things like send SMS and push messages or target ads to individuals, and then allows you to coordinate all of that at scale. You can see over on right a tool called Journey Builder. That's one of the tools that we use to orchestrate all of those messages. In addition, you can enhance the effectiveness of your sending with AI. That's what we're going to really be looking at today. Some of these are features you may not be familiar with, just because they are well, not newer, but not necessarily the first thing that's set up in Marketing Cloud. But I do want to call out that Salesforce and Marketing Cloud have this blanket term for AI tools called Einstein, like Albert Einstein, literally like Albert Einstein. You may see this surfaced in Sales Cloud for things like lead scoring or calculating scores for individuals and determining who somebody should be calling next. On the Marketing Cloud side, there are a full set of tools that are unique and specialized to marketing. These do things like allow you to change when messages are sent and what is in them. In addition, you can make product or content recommendations, not only in emails, but also on websites. Think about Amazon, where you're looking at product and it says, you may also be interested in these products. It can also be used for things like blog content. You read an article by Aaron Pratt on AI. You may also be interested in these articles on AI. They allow you to test and assess, to modify your content, to tweak it a little bit, to give you a heads up on what may or may not work, so you can see and you can adapt your content as follows. And really what that allows you to improve your content overall. One thing I do want to note, these tools are really, really easy to turn on. Most of these are just point and click. You turn them on. Einstein collects data for a period of, depending on the tool, 30 to 45 days. I think in some cases 60 days. Each of these little widgets that you see vary a little bit. But from there, it gives you some really useful information. Because it is point and click, because there are all these dashboards, because it is easily consumable, this AI in particular, these Einstein tools can save you a ton of time. So let's jump into our first demo here. Exit out here, and I'm going to jump in to Marketing Cloud. For those of you who have seen Marketing Cloud Engagement, this is going to look really familiar to you. This is the home screen that you see where you can actually access all the different studios. Email Studio and Content Builder within it are primarily what you're most familiar with and or likely most familiar with. But there's things like Journey Builder where we saw that brief screenshot before. But you can see Einstein stuff is peppered all over the place, all these Einstein features here. We have a great link to additional learning about Einstein. Salesforce does a really good job in Marketing Cloud to linking out to additional articles and information about Einstein and Marketing Cloud features, so make sure to take advantage of those. There's lots of little pieces of information, tweaks that you can make, and these can be invaluable when you're setting up and maintaining Einstein features. And also you can see we have Einstein messaging insights up here, a little Einstein in a circle. He is going to give us information about currently running journeys and messages, and he's going to call out, hey, you have more opens than usual on this particular email. Maybe check that out. Or your unsubscribe rate is higher for this particular journey than it should be. Maybe check that out and see. So it's not going to solve those issues for you, but allows you, it gives you a heads up so you can see those things. But the majority of Einstein features are within the little Einstein Studio button right here. I'm going to jump to the overview so we can talk about some of this stuff. I do want to note again, this big banner up here, this has some basic information about Einstein, how data is used, but also it has information about specific features. It outlines what everything does, and it allows you to view documentation. Really important. So even after you have turned this on, you're not on your own. You can see all that information there and dig into the ins and outs of particular tools. But I want to start with a couple tools down here. I'm scrolling down, copy insights and content selection. So these allow you to view, actually, let me jump in here to copy insights first. This is probably the most straightforward, easiest to understand of the tools. This is going to show you different subject lines that you have set. This is largely subject line based. And tell you whether the engagement rate was above average, average, below average. It'll rank all of these subject lines compared to each other, and so you can see what is and isn't working. And then it'll start to tell you different attributes of these subject lines. So does it have a number? Does it have a % off? Is it a short character count? Is it a long character count? Does it have personalization in it? And it'll start to show you whether or not that impacts the engagement with that subject line, if it's causing more people to open the email. If it has a question mark in this case, it has a slight impact, is resulting in more people opening an email. Maybe you should use more question marks in your subject lines. Whereas the emoji, you're using emoji, not a huge impact. It's the one dot, the red dot here. So it's maybe not causing or resulting in meaningful opens when you do that. You can see here, it also looks at the tone of your email and makes recommendations based on it, or shows you how many emails you've sent out have a particular emotional tone. So let's see if we have pessimism over here on the left side. There's been one email and actually had a positive impact on the engagement. Maybe not what you would see overall, but it just gives you an idea of what this looks like. While I go back to the dashboard here, I do want to note that this is what's called the Northern Trail Outfitters, or NTO, instance of Marketing Cloud. This is a read-only instance of Marketing Cloud that partners in Salesforce have access to in order to demonstrate the end results of features. So if you're working with a partner, if you're working with Salesforce and have questions about any of these tools, definitely consider following up with them, and they can demonstrate within this instance here as well. Now, we can't actually edit what's in here. This is all read-only, but again, really great for demonstrations as well. The other content-specific tool I want to note is our content testing. This allows you to take maybe decisions that you are making manually and automate them. So, for example, let's say you have an email and you are sending one particular image to people in Texas and another image to people in Virginia. If you are setting that up in Email Studio, you're probably creating a dynamic content rule to do that. You're manually saying, hey, here's my Texas image, here's my Virginia image. What content testing does is it takes all of that decision-making out of your hands and leaves it to AI. So you're now saying, hey, Einstein, here are the 4 images that could be sent to somebody. Using what you know about these people, determine which image is going to have the highest engagement, lead to the most click-throughs, for example, or the most conversions, the most sales. And then Einstein is going to start sending out these messages on its own. Let me see if we can get a good view here. Going to send out these messages on its own, and will determine which images should be sent to who. So that allows you then to focus on different strategy and additional strategy around your emails and the approach that you're going to take. A really powerful tool. And again, it's something that you can collect this information as you start using Marketing Cloud, and then as more time goes along, you can refine that strategy. All right. Couple other things I want to note here as well. These top three are really affect the buckets that you put subscribers into, the engagement scoring, and then when and how you are sending messages to them. So engagement scoring based on primarily the number of clicks, a little bit on the number of opens. That's been the emphasis on that has been reduced with changes that have been made in the industry. Help Einstein determine if somebody is all the way at the higher end, a loyalist, somebody who is likely to engage with your emails, all the way down to somebody who's a doormat or win back, somebody who needs some encouraging, some re-nurturing in order to start opening your emails again. Einstein allows you to segment these individuals into different groups in your journeys. And again, this is another tool. You turn it on, Einstein's going to collect the data and then make those segments available in your journeys. And then the other two I want to emphasize, went back there instead of to the dashboard. We'll jump into the dashboard again. Our send time optimization and engagement frequency. Send time optimization is going to show the best time to send an email to somebody when they're most likely to open it. So I can say, hey, everyone in this journey, send them an email within the next 24 hours, but send it at the time they're most likely to open it. So you're not saying, let's wait until 9 a.m. You're saying, let's wait until the time that's best for this individual subscriber. And it's quite literally drag and drop, and you can add that to your tool. The engagement frequency is a similar kind of concept in that it's determining if somebody has too many emails sent to them, too few emails sent to them, just the right number of emails sent to them. It's kind of like the Goldilocks of email sending. Is this just right number of emails, too many or too few? So if somebody is getting too few emails, you can set it up so they get more emails over the course of the week and pull them up into an area where they're more likely to engage. If they're too saturated, maybe you want to hold off sending to your emails to them. So really cool tools here. There's some others. One thing I do want to note as I jump back to the presentation here before we get into our next demo, we do have recommendations. So I didn't note that before. That can be used for product recommendations or article recommendations, either on a website or within an email. It is a little more complicated to set up because you have to have a product catalog associated with it, but still a fairly straightforward thing and still another powerful Einstein tool that you have access to. All right, so let's talk about some of the custom things that you can do within Marketing Cloud. We took a look at Einstein, and I do want to note that those features in particular, all the Einstein features you saw, those are available within the corporate and enterprise editions of Marketing Cloud. If you have Marketing Cloud Engagement, you most likely have one of those versions. If not, they are available in the professional version for an added fee. So reach out to your Salesforce AE if you're interested in those and you want to find out more. Again, they're very powerful, very easy to set up, and with the right historical data, they're very easy to use. But in terms of custom setup within Marketing Cloud, so I've pulled up a screenshot here. This is Content Builder within Email Studio. For those that have used Marketing Cloud Engagement, this is likely very familiar. This is the drag and drop WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get email builder within Marketing Cloud. Typically, you would pull content over from here. So I'd use Freeform for body content, or an image if I had a logo or a picture I want to add, or dynamic content if I had, for example, an image for Texas, an image for Virginia, like the example that I gave earlier. And you can see the changes as you make them. Now, this green square, this is our little mystery square right here. This is where you can add a custom content block. So instead of just having this basic content and advanced content that Marketing Cloud provides, you can really have any app load over here that updates a content block in the email. So any web page, anything that's out there. For example, you may use that for a digital asset manager. If you have images that are hosted somewhere else other than Marketing Cloud, you want to be able to select them. You can load that digital asset management here in this block window and drag over your images, select your images. It could be a content management system like WordPress or Sitecore or anything else that you're using to update your website. You can pull resources and information like that. Or it could be a proprietary database for your organization, even a local database. So for example, you may have only specific headlines that you want to use. And instead of giving a free-form text field like you'd usually have with the Marketing Cloud, you can pull the approved headlines from the database and select them right here in the app and pull it over to a content block. Or, and this is going to be unsurprising to everybody, you can use an AI model right within here. That's what we're going to do because obviously this is a presentation about AI and Marketing Cloud. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pull in ChatGPT. We're going to take a look at running it locally on my machine and how it can be used to generate content within email. Now, one really important thing I want to note about this is privacy. Now, OpenAI, they're the makers of ChatGPT, and any other AI model is using your data. So you want to make sure that you understand their privacy policies and how they're using that information. I know that you're not really in none of us are really in the cycle of really understanding terms and conditions and all of that, but it's really important. You don't want your organization's special sauce or special information that you're putting into this model to get out there. And knowing the rules of how OpenAI or another organization is going to use your data ensures that it's not the case, that doesn't get out there. So I'm going to actually log in here for a demo here. While I'm doing that, I'm going to try to multitask and talk at the same time. That doesn't always work well, but I am now going to log into our Plative instance of Marketing Cloud. This is a partner instance, which means that we don't use it for sending. We're not allowed to use it for sending, but we can use it to demonstrate different features within Marketing Cloud as well as to build proof of concepts. So that's what we've done here with a custom content block. So that slide didn't make sense, whereas talking through a custom content block is. Hopefully this one will now, this demonstration will give you a clearer idea of that. So I'm gonna edit my email. Oh, spoilers, I'm gonna remove this headline right here. But you can see I do have my blocks over here. Remember, I could pull over an image and add an image. This particular email is for a fictitious bank, Plative Bank. I already have some content in here. This was all actually generated by AI as well, by prompts related to an interest-bearing checking account and professional wrestling. So I guess I'm going back to professional wrestling theme. Maybe I should wear the red furry coat. But what we do need here is we need a headline. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom here, you can see our custom content blocks. I'm going to pull this AI generator one over here. You can see I have my block. This is where the content's going to end up. And we have the editor over here. Also the ability to edit HTML, change the block settings like padding, things along those lines. But right here, I'm going to actually type in a prompt. So we'll start saying, hi there, AI. Obviously, it's going to give us something that is not super useful yet. But I can ask it to write a headline for an email about Plative Bank's interest-bearing checking account. And see, it did that pretty quick. Relatively generic, maybe not exactly what we want yet. I'm going to give it feedback like, designers get. Make it pop more, pump it up a notch. We'll see what it says. Supercharge your finances better. All right, now I'm going to go along with the wrestling theme that I had in there. I'm going to say, rewrite the headline like you were a professional wrestler. We'll see. It says unleash your financial fury, and that's pretty good. I like that. But I'm gonna say, give me another option and see what that one says. Step into the financial arena. You know, I do like the financial fury one. I'm going to just click that and select that. And now it has been added right to my email. These blocks behave like any other content blocks. I can drag and drop them. I can move them, all of that good stuff. I could format them differently. I didn't demonstrate that, but that's what I did with these bullet points down here. So we now have an email that is, for the most part, AI generated. All right. Now,
It's 1 o'clock.
It's 1 o'clock, guys. One additional demo that I'm going to jump into here. And this is going to look familiar to you. So we have looked at Einstein tools within Marketing Cloud that already exist. We've looked at adding additional AI tools within Marketing Cloud through the Content Builder SDK. Now we're going to look at one more demo, and that is actually using ChatGPT, or you could use a similar AI tool to help save you some time when it comes to Marketing Cloud. This allows you to refine your approach, to ask questions to an AI, to get information that can largely help you with Marketing Cloud. So this looks familiar. This, again, is my local instance of ChatGPT. I'm using an API key here because ChatGPT, OpenAI, has indicated that if you use an API key, they're not going to use your data in some other model for somebody else, so it is more private. This would also allow me to add any additional articles or information that I had and take that into account for the responses that I get from the AI. And it really allows you more flexibility to have something that's custom tailored to you. Now, I haven't done a lot of that here. I've really just kind of changed the UI, but it is something that you can expand and customize for your organization. So with the AI here, I'm going to start looking at ways I can use this to write Marketing Cloud code. So complicated server-side JavaScript, SQL, all of that good stuff. And we're going to look really briefly at how you can use it to generate content for your organization, for your emails, for your journeys, all of that good stuff. So let's start by asking it to write some server-side JavaScript. Actually, first I'm going to ask. I'm going to have a short conversation with this. So, hi AI, how are you? It doesn't have feelings. Okay. Well, I'm going to jump right in. It's all business today. I'm going to ask it to write some server-side JavaScript. So that's one of the languages that Marketing Cloud supports that creates a data extension, so a database table behind the scenes. If I was going to do this manually, I'd have to go in and click through a bunch of screens. Not super difficult, but definitely something that can be time-consuming. But I'm going to ask the AI to create some server-side JavaScript that if I cut and pasted this, I think I'm going to move this over just a little bit here. If I cut and pasted this into a cloud page or a script activity in Automation Studio, it would create that data extension. And it looks like it did a pretty good job here. Remember, AI is not perfect. You're going to have to test this, make sure it works. I would say about 80% of the time with this particular model, when I put in a request, it works for the most part. So you can see this is code that would create the data extension. Sometimes all the prompts that I have here, these are pre-designed, but the AI will give me different responses each time. The next prompt I have here is asking it to add comments to the code. You can see in this case, it already did. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So I wouldn't have to do that. But let's see if it can tell me what someone else's code is doing. So I'm going to copy and paste this here. For anybody familiar with AmpScript, which is another programming language within Marketing Cloud, see if you can tell me what this does. Maybe it looks familiar, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to just ask, what is this code doing? And we'll see. There we go. It nailed it. It says this is basically code from a custom preference center, and it's outlining what each different section of this code is doing. I could also add, hey, add inline comments to this so someone else can understand what this is reading, and the tool would understand that as well. Now I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to ask for a SQL query before we wrap up our code example here. Because as you know, you either love SQL or you don't, and you try to ignore it. But everybody within Marketing Cloud, or lots of people within Marketing Cloud, maybe have to have some familiarity with it. I'm going to ask for something pretty complicated here. This is a data extension to get the last time of engagement for every subscriber within the system, the sends, opens, clicks, most recent bounce, and also the job ID of the last email they're sent. Let's see if the AI can figure this out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I'm that's maybe not the best solution for Marketing Cloud. That's something we'd want to revise. I'm no SQL whiz, but this is a pretty quick way to get some code that is either going to work or mostly going to work that would have probably taken me, I don't know, 30 minutes if I was going to sit down and do this manually. Again, I'd probably have some prompts and ask it to limit this to just a single select statement if we're going to go through some other examples here. But in this case, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to look at how we can now use this AI, not only for code, but for content, because that's really what you start to think about using AI for with ChatGPT and other things. It's generative AI, so it's generating different content. In this case, I'm going to ask about 5 journeys that Plate of Bank could build to attract new customers. Pretty generic, but a brainstorming session that you may have in one of your weekly team meetings, and is going through, it's suggesting a few things for me. Onboarding journey, product education journey, again, really quick. I'm going to refine one of these. Oh, I like this personal finance journey that it has. So it gives me an explanation of it. I'm going to ask it to tell me some emails that could be included in the above personal finance journey. Let's see what it does. So this is starting to build out the journey for me and telling me different messages that I might have. It gives me a head start. It's not writing the full content, but it gives me a really great overview, and it does this quickly. So you can see it's suggested 6 emails, 7 emails, 8 emails, 9. That's a lot of emails. I maybe should have limited it. So I can say if I only wanted 5 emails, which would you pick? And then it's going to reduce that there. So again, that's ChatGPT. This could be any AI model that you are running locally. To get some information like this, you can use it for code or for content. Now to wrap up, just cover briefly what we discussed throughout the course of this. We took a look at Marketing Cloud engagement and talked about how it's a tool to orchestrate different communications, whether that's email, SMS, push, or ads. One of many Salesforce Marketing Cloud tools, and probably the general one that you think of when it comes to marketing automation. We took a look at the AI tools that are within Marketing Cloud engagement, all those different Einstein features that there are, or some of the Einstein features that there are. We did not cover all of them today. There's a good chunk of additional ones that are available. We looked at how you can generate Marketing Cloud, or excuse me, generate marketing content right within Content Builder through a custom content block. And then we also looked at how you can use generative AI to create some code as well as content for your emails. A few key takeaways for you as we've looked at all this. First of all, AI isn't perfect. You still need to proofread it. You still need to check and make sure it's doing what you're asking it to do. But ultimately, it can save tons of time. Think about all those dashboards that are available for all the Einstein features within Marketing Cloud. That gives you information that would have taken days, if not weeks or months to compile, and allows you to make more informed decisions in a very rapid way that would not have been possible before. Even so, you do need to think about privacy. How are these different models using your information and your subscribers' information, and make sure that's in line with your business needs and your corporate policies. And you can use this AI tool, even though it's not perfect, even though it saves you time, even though you need to consider the privacy, you can continue to refine your approach. So think about ChatGPT and how in our last example, we're able to ask follow-up questions and really refine and drill down some information that was helpful for us. All right. That's what we have. Let's see what we have for questions. All right, I see a couple here. Feel free to add some additional, again, the PlayStation E icon and then Q&A if you have any. But one I see is, does Marketing Cloud for Einstein or Einstein and Marketing Cloud use data from outside of my account? That's a great question. So by default, it does not. However, certain Einstein features do have the ability to turn on and opt into using information from other accounts and to make your information available. It's not going to be down to the subscriber level. It's a higher level than that, but that is something to consider. Remember, you want to consider your privacy and how you are using data and data from others. But you can opt into that right within setup within Marketing Cloud. And that is, Salesforce does a great job of outlining what that means and the ramifications of doing that. Next one, this is a more general one. When am I ready to get started with AI in marketing? In general, I'd say jump in and do it, especially within Marketing Cloud engagement with Einstein tools. Turn them on, see the information that they provide. You don't have to act on it if you're not sure the model or not sure it's making the right conclusions, or you're not sure the data quality at first, but take a look at that. I will also say that Plative does do assessments for our clients to see if they're ready for AI. It is a different approach than maybe you are used to when it comes to marketing, and that is okay. We can help you to see what other tools or what other information you may need to keep in place in order to get started. So if you're interested in that, leave a comment in the questions or follow up, and we can have somebody follow up with you on that on the Plative side. One other question. Okay. Somebody asked, why did you use ChatGPT on your local computer instead of at the ChatGPT website? That's a great question. So there's a couple of reasons. I think I mentioned very briefly that because we're using the API code, ChatGPT OpenAI is not using our data in other responses. So that's a big thing. The other thing that this opens up, we didn't use it here, but it allows us to use other information across our own files. So if I have Salesforce Sales Cloud records for accounts and contacts I want to take into account in my ChatGPT response, I can use that. I can extend the model to use that. Or I can use it to for more recent responses. ChatGPT's data only goes back to a certain length of time. So if I were to ask it, hey, who was in the Republican debate last night, it wouldn't know because it doesn't have that information. But you can extend it with more up-to-date information. Okay, do you see another question that came up here? And this may be one that we follow up with afterwards, but it says, do you have a list of use cases where you can use AI within Marketing Cloud versus directly in ChatGPT, other LLMs? Yes, we can provide some information on that. It's largely available within the Salesforce help documentation as well as Trailhead. We do kind of have a curated list of that because there is a lot of information out there. But that's definitely something that we will provide as a follow-up to this particular webinar. All right. I think that's all I see right now. Any additional questions, thoughts, concerns that somebody wants to add in the Q&A? This is your final opportunity. All right. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you joining today. We will follow up with links to recording and other follow-up information that we have, such as the question about use cases within Marketing Cloud. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.